And Zimbabwe's opposition party, the Citizens Coalition for Change, is urging the leaders of the Southern African Development Community to facilitate dialogue and pursue an inclusive resolution to the political and legitimacy crisis in Zimbabwe. This appeal comes just days before the 44th SADC Summit in Harare, despite reports of multiple arrests and human rights violations in the lead-up to the regional event. In the meantime, the SADC Industrial Week is underway as part of the preparations for the summit. Now, to discuss this live with me, I'm joined by CCC Spokesperson Promise Mkhwanazi. He joins us from Harare, Zimbabwe. Mr. Promise, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So, would like to know what specific actions has the Citizens Coalition for Change proposed for creating dialogue and also resolving the political crisis in Zimbabwe as ahead of the 44th SADC meeting.
Well, we have written several times to SADC to inform them of the need for SADC to facilitate an inclusive reform process in Zimbabwe that is based on the elections of the August 2023, which did not go well. And we believe that SADC has got an important role in terms of facilitating dialogue between the opposition and the ruling ZANU-PF party. We believe that the situation in the country requires all hands on the deck, and SADC has a positive role to play in terms of facilitating to ensure that there is dialogue between the leading presidential contenders in Zimbabwe.
What about the arrests and the violations that we keep hearing about? How's that affecting the preparations for the meeting, the 44th meeting?
Obviously, the arrests and detentions and intimidation of people is an indicator of the unstable political situation in the country, is an indicator of the insecurity and paranoia of the ruling party, because they know that they are sitting on a time bomb. And this must have demonstrated to SADC that there is need to resolve the simmering political crisis in Zimbabwe. And SADC has a role in ensuring that these arrests, these detentions are stopped. Surely, I think it must prickle the conscience of SADC. You cannot come to Zimbabwe on the back of persecution of human rights defenders, of opposition activists and opposition leaders in Zimbabwe. SADC must be able to say, no, Zimbabwe cannot persecute its own people on account of hosting us.
So the CCC has called for this industrial week, but how exactly is this going to contribute to addressing the political and legitimate crises in Zimbabwe?
Well, I think that it is going to, practically it is important for the people of Zimbabwe to be given the opportunity to demonstrate their disquiet over the situation in Zimbabwe. And this right is encapsulated in the country's constitution. Zimbabweans have a right to demonstrate as long as they notify the police and follow the requirements of that procedure to allow the demonstration to take place. And accordingly, we followed every procedure. We've done everything to the book in terms of the law to ensure that the processes that will unfold are processes that are within the confines of the laws of Zimbabwe, in particular, the Constitution.
Well, Mr. Mkhwanazi, I want to say thank you very much for joining us and sharing your insight.
Thank you.